ועל זה אמרו, שמש בשבס, צדוקה לעניים. ועל זה אמרו, שמש בשבס, צדוקה לעניים. Basically, this saying in the Gemara in Tainis, the Gemara says over there that the sun on Shabbos is a charity for the poor people. So basically, in the Pashtus, the pshat is that during the weekday, the poor person has to work very hard to get all of his needs. But when it comes Shabbos and the sun shines, so that's a tzedakah for the poor people. They don't have to do anything. They're enjoying the Shabbos. But the Alter Rebbe is going to explain this, that during the weekday, we are all considered like aniyim, like poor people, because we are not able to perceive godliness. We're not able to perceive Hashem. As hard as they work to try to understand, it becomes like a level of sick. A person becomes sick of love of Hashem, as the Alter Rebbe will explain. The sun is what heals. So when it comes in Shabbos, the Eibishter gives them the tzedakah, that charity, that they become healthy, which means they are able to perceive, they are able to get a higher level of understanding in Hashem through their davening and their meditation. So again, so that's what he says. So about this, our sages say, Shemesh B'Shabbos is tzedakah la'ani. That's a charity for the poor people. Well, what is the idea? Kediksiv, because the pasuk, like it says, Shemesh tzedakah umarpe bichnofeha. The Shemesh, the sun, is a charity, and it heals in its wings. Basically, the tzedakah, the charity that Hashem gives us by giving us this Shemesh, and that ends up bringing healing. When the sun comes out, there's healing. So that is the meaning of Shemesh Utzdaka Marbuchafel. How? Because there's another pasuk that says, Ki Shemesh Umogen Havaya Hu Hameraper. Because when we say Shemesh Umogen Havaya, that Hashem is like the sun and the shield, that is what is the merape, that is the healer. That is what heals the person. In a level of Refe Cholim. Hold on, what's going on? Okay. Because it's Refe Cholim, that's why this is considered to be a tzedakah as the pasuk says, as the pasuk says, Shemesh b'tzedakah l'aniyim. That's why it's a tzedakah l'aniyim. Why the leis loin migarmayu kulum, because they don't have anything on their own. So that's a tzedakah, which means they don't have in themselves that level of healing that they need, that comes as a gift from Hashem. That's why it's called a tzedakah. The les loin migarmayu klum. They don't have on their own. Everything is a charity. Biur hadavar, to explain this matter, kihine kol yimais hachoil knesses Yisrael hu bebichinas choilas ahava. All weekdays, the Knesset Yisrael is in a level of choilas ahava, which means you're sick from the love. It's a love that you can't fulfill. So it's basically choilas. You become sick from that love in a way, as the pasuk says, smachuni ba'ashishus rifaduni betapuchim choilas ava oni. Over there in Shir Hashirim, he's talking about how they try to healed the person in the tapuchim, the ashishus, because of his level of love. He's sick with love. Why is the love make him sick? That level of love that he has is in the way of a poor person that has nothing of his own. And his soul yearns and expires, wants to go up to its beloved, to the doida, doida is called the doidi. This is references the love to Hashem, to the uncle, to the one that we love. So there is a yearning and there is a expiration of the soul to go up to doida. To be included in the light of Hashem, the infinite blessed He, who is higher than the level that fills and surrounds the world. When you have such an expiring love of the soul, that the soul wants it, when you reach that level of love that you want to expire, that is the level of called a sick. That's love. That love is a sickly love. Why? Why are you sick? So explain like this. Because it's a continuous hope. You are constantly yearning and you're constantly expiring. But she will never, all the days of her life, she will never reach it. So it's a love that she's never going to reach. That's what makes it a love that is called a sickly, because the person can never achieve that level of yearning and aspiration. And that is why it's called choyle. V'lochein nikru talmidei chachomim ba'olam hazeh kitziri umeri. That's from the lashon of the Gemara in Tainis. Over there, the Gemara in the Dorim. Over there, the Gemara refers to the Talmidei Chachomim as people who are kitziri, meaning they are sick, umeri, and they're bad, they're not feeling well. Why is that? Talmidei Chachomim heim hamekablim b'bchinas chachma. Talmidei Chachomim, they are students of chachma. What does it mean? They receive from the level of chachma. Sheroyin es hanoilad ma'ayin liyesh. They see how everything was created from nothing into existence. So they are able to have that level of chachma. Veroyin shekol hishtalshlus shel b'chinas yesh hu heipach meb'chinas ayin. That all of the hishtalshlus, the way things evolve of the yesh, how the yesh comes into being, is just the opposite from the level of ayin. And level of bittul is bigger yesh. You're going further away. And that's why their soul yearns in that level of a love which is sickly love, of yearning, mamer, so that their soul should actually pour out itself. Brings down now in the parenthesis, Parshas Vayera, Pirush, over there he explained that choyle hu k'shechosar mimenu shar chamisha. You know that there's 50 gates of Bina, and when a chochem achieves 49 gates, but he's missing one gate, the 50th gate, when it's choser, the Shar HaChamishim, he's sick because he doesn't have that 50th gate. So, yes, lefarish, that's what it says in Lukadesh, lefarish, so we can explain, Kishar HaChamishim, the Bina, that 50th gate of Bina that he's lacking, Hu HaMechaber Chochma Shehi Ayin Im HaBina Shenikra Yesh. That is the gate which connects Chochma, which is in the level of Ayin, with the Bina, which is the level of Yesh. The Hainu, which means what it means to connect Mahamshich, Habitl, the Chochma, Gam B'Bechinas HaYesh, to draw down the level of Bitl of Chochma also into the Yesh. As written, explained on the Pasuk Usfartum Lachem. V'hinei ba'atzilus hu chibur Chochma ubina b'bchinas trein rein. In the world of Atzilus, over there is a connection between Chochma and Bina in a way of trein rein, that they're two friends. We say two friends that never separate, they always go together. Chochma and Bina are like two friends that are always there together. Aval b'briya, but in Briya, ein meir b'chinas Chochma ilah. Over there does not shine the level of the supreme Chochma. Rak b'chinas Bina, only the level of Bina. And therefore, v'alkein, Abriya b'chinas yesh. And that's why the Briya is in a level of a yesh, because it doesn't have Chochma, it only has Bina. So now we're going to explain what does it mean that it's sick when it is in Briya during the 6 days of the week. During the weekdays, when Malchus descends into Briya Tzirasiya, Aken he Bechinas Chaylas Ava, then she is in the level of Chaylas Ava. What is it? Why is it sick? Mizeh shebechinas yeshu heipach ayin, because it finds itself in Briya. Malchus finds itself in Briya, and it's sick because it finds itself a yesh which is opposite of the ayin. But ubeshabes ubechinas marpe, over there, marpe, as he said before, that in the wings it brings healing, because on Shabbos there is healing, because on Shabbos Malchus goes up to Atzilus, which is chibur ha'ayin b'yesh, that is connecting the ayin with the yesh. V'kach tzorich ha'odom le'oirer avazu b'tfilah. And also likewise, we're talking about over here of the special the inyan of Talmidei Chachamim, how they are always serving Hashem with a kloisa nefesh. So a person needs to arouse, to wake up that love in davening. Kediksiv, as we say in the pasuk, Chalu no pnei kel. Chalu no pnei kel. Please. Chaluna also has the words of sick, of choila in it. The word chalun of negen. Upilush chalu. But what does it mean? Chalu means to pray hard. To Moshe Kosu vayichal Moshe melamed shehechla. Over there we say that vayichal is also lashon choila, that he teaches us that he became sick. That's the level of that love. That's the level of Vafani with great fanfare, with great noise, level of sick being, because it's a love that has not been achieved. But on Shabbos, Shabbos is the level where Hashem heals the sick. Tzedakah umarpe, because the sun is charity umarpe b'chnofeho. Why? Yizbu v'yisangu mituvecho, because then they are satisfied and they delight from Hashem's goodness, as the pasuk says. And the pasuk further says, "V'osti saneg al havaya." When you come to Shabbos and you get the level of tainug, as it says, and then you get the level of healing. It will get the level of reifei cholim. The Eibishter heals the sick, which means the Eibishter gives you the ability to actually satisfy and reach your yearning and your desire to connect to Hashem. V'lochein Shemesh, explaining back to Gemara and Nedorim, that's why we say that Shemesh b'Shabbos is tzedakah l'aniyim. The Shemesh is tzedakah l'aniyim. And aniyim, what does it mean? Poor people mean the less lohain megarmayu. They don't have on their own, which means asher nichsafo gam kosa nafshom, because they are yearning and expiring to Hashem. But comes Shabbos, they're held ki Hashemesh marpe, because the sun, the Shabbos that comes, the tzedakah that it comes on Shabbos is marpe, heals. Ayin mashekosuv. B'dibur hamaschil tiku b'chodesh. The Inyan over there, when he's learned over there in the mamer tiku b'chodesh, the Inyan that over there he discusses the idea that lo osid in the future, HaKadosh Baruch Hu moitzi chama min artaka. God will take out the son of its seed, and it says tzadikim misrapim bo, that the tzaddikim will be healed by the sun, which Hashem will take out. So what does it mean, though, that we say Hashemesh merape? How? Ubechinas shemesh umogen havaya. We're talking about the level. We say shemesh umogen havaya, which means we're talking about Eir Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Bechinas Chochma Ilah. That's the level of the Eir Ein Sof Baruch Hu. The level of Chochmah Ilah, Asher Ha'roso Yordo V'nislapsho Bibya B'Sheishis Yimei HaKoil, that the shine has descended from the Ein Sof, which is Chochmah Ilah, descended into Biyah B'Sheishis Yimei HaKoil, during the 6th day of the weekday. U'B'Shabbos when on Shabbos it goes back to its root, back to its source. Keep Shabbos, keep the Shabbos, because it's Kodesh, which means that it goes back up to the level of Kodesh, it goes back up to the level of Chochmah, it goes back up to the level of Ayin. Ayin Mashakosu, Mizeh B'dibur Hamaschil, Shabbos Shabbosim. Kitzer. What is the Inyan Kitzer? Is Inyan Kabbalah's Shabbos? The idea says Kabbalah Shabbos, that's the level of the Chunarana. We started learning in this ois, the level of Makiv that gives the koyach for the year to experience the Shabbos. Umisha Torach Be'erev Shabbos, and also we know the one who troubles himself before Shabbos will get on Shabbos. So the same thing is, if we have the avoida on Erev Shabbos, which is Inyan, and this is the same idea of halo so you have first the level of the Moisachayil, which is the level of Birurim, and it's the level of halo in the verses of song and Kriya Shema. And then you have a Shemoneh Esrei. When we have a Shemoneh Esrei, that's Baruch Ato Hashem. That's a level of Amshacha. Ba'efresh, the Bein Ha'alo, the Chaylu Bein Ha'alo, the Shabbos. But it's still, what's the difference? The Ha'alo of the weekday, which is Shemoneh Esrei, and the Ha'alo of Shabbos, which comes on Shabbos, the difference is Kimoi Ben Kvar Shero. It's either like a villager, Ben Kvar, Shero Es HaMelech, sees the king, Legabe Ben Krach, relative to a Ben Krach, relative to a city person. And he also explained the V'inyan of Shemesh, Tzedakah, Umarpe, that the Shemesh is Tzedakah, Umarpe. Gimel. Okay, so now we discussed the weekday, and we discussed Shabbos. Now we're going to go to discuss the Chodsh. So we're going to discuss Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is sort of a middle ground between Shabbos and the weekday. It's not complete, not considered the Yom Ma'aseh, as we discussed earlier. We're going to speak about it now. The Kolzer who bechinas Shabbos neged Yemei Sachar. This is all Shabbos if you measure Shabbos next to the Yemei Sachar. Ach bechinas Rosh Chodesh, but the level of Rosh Chodesh, hu inyan achar. That's something different. Level of Rosh Chodesh. Shari mutar basiyas melacha, because on Rosh Chodesh you're allowed to. It's permissible to do melacha, unlike Shabbos. But v'afal pikein ein nechshav m'sheish me'amaisa. It's still not considered one of the 6 days of action. The Meisachah. So going to explain this. V'hinei ksiv. The pasuk says like this. It says Koy Omar Hashem, says Hashem. Shar hachotzeir hapnimis hapoine kodim. The gate to the courtyard, to the inner courtyard, which turns to east. Yiyah sogur sheishis yimei hamaisa. That should be locked during the 6 days of action during the weekdays. Ubiyom haShabbos yiposeach. But when Shabbos comes, that gate gets opened up, and the same thing is ubiyom chodesh yiposeach. That on the day of the Rosh Chodesh, it is also opened up. So here you see clearly sheyom hachodesh einay bechlal yimei hamaisa, that the day of the Chodesh is not part of the Yimei HaMaisa Li Sogur Boy Hashar, so that the gate should be closed over there. We don't. In other words, by Yimei HaMaisa Mamesh, we close that gate. But when it comes to Rosh Chodesh, it's not part of it and it's open. So what is it? Well, Inyan, and the idea is Yuvon al Derech Moshul. We can understand it by way of example of from your own flesh I can see godliness, as the pasuk says, to figure out from your own life. Shadibur, that the speech of the person mekabel mibeis bechinas. Your speech gets from 2 levels. Sometimes it gets your emotional, what you feel emotionally. That is what you will speak. And sometimes what you will feel intellectually, you will speak. It receives from the 2 levels. Sometimes it receives from the midas, you'll speak, because the dibur receives from the emotion. What does it mean? Because you love the item, because you love it, the item, so you'll speak about it. Or if you're angry, then you'll express your anger or not speak about it. But those are dibur when they receive from the level of the emotion, from the level of midas. But ulapamim mekabel mibchinas haseichel. Sometimes it also gets the dibur from the intellect, v'havona, and understanding. Shemedaber ma shemevim b'sichol. That you speak that which you understand intellectually with your mind, and that's what you speak. So sometimes dibur gets from the midos, and sometimes it gets from the seichel. Kach al derech moshel yuvan l'maylo l'masi. So by way of example, it will be understood above to the one who understands. Notwithstanding the fact that Hashem's thoughts are not our thoughts, chulu, etc. So how could we even attempt to try to understand and give the example from the level of dibur, which is mekabel? But still, you see, we do talk about the level of dibur. About above, we say dibur. Udvar Havaya. And also we say the word of Hashem. So we see that there is dibur and dvar Havaya. So what does that mean? The idea of dibur is revelation, Almatis Galia. We say level of dibur, dvar vaya shehi bechinas almodiz gali. This is from the level of the revealed world. V'hu moker, right? It says the word moker here, right? Yeah. V'hu moker bechinas Knesset Yisrael. That is the source of Knesset Yisrael. Level of dibur is the source. Level of malchus is the source of Knesset Yisrael. Ulefamim asher Knesset Yisrael mekabelas bechina zu mibchinas hamidas. Sometimes Knesset Yisrael receives this level of dibur of malchus from the level of midas. Dahainu, that is b'chinas ahava musuteres. That's the hidden love b'chol sheishis yimei hachol. Achar tefillah. So it gets from the level of the midas, so that hidden love during the 6 days of the week after davening, liyas sur meirah, so that he should stay away from bad, v'asi toiv, and do good, bakishol. Machmas, that will come, machmas abativis hamasuteres, believe kol Yisrael. That is because of the hidden love which is in the nature of every Yid. So you get sometimes the level of the strength during the weekdays. How after the davening do you resist to stay away from bad and continue to do good and seek shalom? That is because of the natural love which is hidden by the heart of every Yid. Upirush bakir shalom. What does it mean? So we know sur meirava say toiv, stay away from that, do good. But what is the meaning of bakir shalom? That is liyas liskashrus shnei hafochim, right? The word is hafochim over here, right? Shnei hafochim. Yeah? You have the word shnei liyas liskashrus shnei hafochim. Yeah? Can you hear me?
Yes, here.
Does it say hafochim?
Hafochim.
Yeah. By me, it's written with a resh, haporim, so that's why. I'm double checking here. It makes sense. So liyas is kashrus shnei hafochim. So to be able to tie the two opposites. So kol ma shelamaylo maylo ubchinas ayin. That everything that is higher and higher is the level of ayin. And kol ma shelamato mato, and whatever is lower, lower, ubchinas yesh. So Mash'enkein b'Rosh Chodesh mekabeles. So that's the that's a bakashol. But as opposed to when it comes to Rosh Chodesh, mekabeles mebchinas haseichel v'havona. Then it gets from the level of the Knesset Yisrael gets from the level of the intellect and understanding. So oz hu shas hakosher l'maylo says hakosher, right? Hushas hakosher. L'maylo l'hamshich loy haskola v'havona, to draw down to the person the understanding and the seichel b'schatshus ma'aseh bereishis ma'ayin liyesh, to how the world is created ma'ayin liyesh. He has that understanding. B'liyes ha'avo b'bchinas bittul. And so that the level of love should be in a way of subjugation. So during the weekday, the Ave, the level of Ave is in a way of yesh. But in the Rosh Chodesh, it receives from the level of moichin, the level of seichel and havona, understanding the Bria Ma'ayin Liyesh. And the Abba should be little. It should be in a way little. As the Pasuk says, it's my words that are in your mouth. Basically, it's the words of Hashem, and you're just a vehicle. So that's why it's the Vorai, it's Hashem's words that are in his mouth. Uksiv, and further it says, V'osim Dvorai bificha. I will put my words. So it's still the words of Hashem, Dvorai mamesh. So this all represents the level of bittul which takes place on Rosh Chodesh. V'aya mashekosu b'biur al posik v'hoya mispar b'nei Yisrael u'b'dibur ha'maschil b'chodesh hashlishi. U'b'china zu, and this level of bittul that one has on Rosh Chodesh is nikro shar hachotzer hapnimis hakodim v'nekodim. We're talking about then the gate is open then. So that level, on Rosh Chodesh, they opened that gate. That gate is called the gate to the inner courtyard that turns kodim. What does it mean? Turns to the east. Kodim means mikedem l'maisa bereshis. That this goes ahead of maisa bereshis. And he explains ki maisa bereshis. Because when we say Ma'aseh Bereshis, we said before, what is Bereshis? The act of Chokhmah. The Ma'aseh Bereshis, Hainu, Chinas HaChokhmah, Kamoshe B'slabeshes, Behamitis. That is the way Chokhmah dresses up in the level of Midas. Kamoshe is Ba'ili Il, as we explained before, Bepirush, the meaning of Sheshes Yimei Bereshis, the 6 days, the 6 Midas that are infused by Bereshis, by the level of Chokhmah. So, the way during the weekday they get, Malchus gets from the level of Chokhmah through the level of Midas, through the Sheishis Yomim. Masha'enkin, B'Rosh Chodesh, as opposed to Rosh Chodesh, B'Kabel HaDibur, B'Chinas HaChokhmah Atzma. So then the level of Dibur gets from the Chokhmah itself. The Einoi Doime B'chinas HaChokhmah Melubeshes B'Hamidos, and it's, you can't compare the level of Chokhmah, which is dressed in Midos. Over there, it's very hidden. When Chokhmah comes in Midos, that the Chokhmah is there in the Midos, only obscure. And you can't compare it to the level when Chokhmah itself, when it comes not through Midas, it comes directly from the Chokhmah. So that it's higher and exalted, raised, much higher than the level of Midas. Mashekosu b'dibra maschil v'yidaber elikim el Moshe and chulu v'eirel avram chulu. So b'china zu, this high level of when mekabel from the level of Chokhmah, nemar ushmi havaya lo nedaiti lahem. I have not been known with the shmi havaya. V'ayin mashekosu oid. Inyan Hapoina Kodim, from this idea of Hapoina Kodim. Here we touch Kodim that is before Sheish Mebraces, but it also explains this in B'divra Mascha V'Yakil Moshe. V'ayin B'zeir Chelik Ale Parshas Noach Daf Ayin Hey Omer Beis. V'hu Inyan, and that is the idea of Machadash Chodoshim. Okay, we'll start over in Machadash Chodoshim. We'll stop over here. And we'll continue Vezos Hashem tomorrow. Okay. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow, Vezos Hashem.